I've invaded a back room at Calumet Birmingham because I've come to look at something super cool that I'm pretty excited about. But check out what I've just found in the back. Photography News, latest edition, September to October. And look what's front page news. Of course, no prizes in guessing as it's been all over the forums, the Nikon D850. But we're interested in this column right here, A Feast from Fujifilm. We've got the usual flavour that you get when you get a body with a kit lens. So the XE3 with the 18-55. Nice, do like that. But check this out. You can also get the XE3 with a 23mm f2 weather resistant. Now, hopefully you've checked out the video on that, and that is a cracking lens. That's a nice combo. The body itself is actually really nice and small. This is the smallest X-Trans 3 X-mount camera on the market at the moment. Nice little thing. In fact, it's sneaking into the XA1 sort of size on the front. Familiar to many, the manual, continuous and single. You've got a command dial there, which is nice because I like to use that personally to change my exposure compensator, and I'm used to that. Of course, this is a rangefinder style. You've got no flash on the top, but you've got the hot shoe right there, which is cool. You've got a nice dial on the top, which is actually not going to be too easy to knock accidentally in the bag, so you can set your shutter speed and not worry too much. You do have an auto mode if you want to switch off your brain, but it's not for me at all. I could live without that, but doesn't really get in my way. Exposure compensator dial. Now I'm happy using C and using the front. That's not such a big deal to me now, but still, it's nice. You've still got some touchy-feely dials. There's a complete lack of D-pad. The beauty here is they've put that joystick lever in there, so you can get to your focus points nice and easy. You've still got a menu OK display back and a play button. And of course, now we've got this brilliant touch screen. You'll notice we've got gesture controls, so I can flick up to select my AF points. I can go across for white balance, although I think I'd reprogram that. Down, ISO. Again, I think I'd be happy to reprogram that, and film simulations here. Still got USB 2.0, HDMI micro connector, and that annoying 2.5mm mic jack. If you're into your rangefinder style stuff, maybe you've got an X Pro 2 and you want a baby version, this thing is sweet. For travel, I can't see this being a problem. People do moan about the screen not being articulated, but that's the point of these cameras, I believe. That's what they're for. They're not supposed to have the flip up screen, so I'm not sure what the big deal is there. Also, some people might bemoan the fact that it's missing that D-pad, but I think that's just one of those things that you can easily operate with that. I noticed that once you start looking through, you can actually flick around and select via the screen while you're using the viewfinder. That's sweet, and we're hoping that we get that feature in a firmware update for the T20, but I'm not sure. Can't remember if that's possible or not. You know, it's a little unfair that I'm holding up the T20 next to the XE3, but they're similarly priced, but they're for different markets, frankly. It's not the kind of thing you want to be comparing unless you're completely new to the market. Then it could be all down to feel, whether you prefer the SLR style, you know, with your viewfinder in the middle, or if you prefer the rangefinder style, where you can have one eye on and another eye looking around at what's happening. They're two different cameras, but they have very similar autofocus systems, the exact same sensor and processor. There are no sample shots because, frankly, you might as well look at the sample shots from this or even the T2 maybe, and the X Pro 2. It's the same sensor, it's the same setup really. You're now using the same amount of focus points. You've got a few little tweaks that probably won't be in the firmware upgrades for the T2 and the T20, but overall, it's a beautiful little camera that really, you could work side by side if you're happy to have two different styles of body. But I think this one, you could easily just slip in your pocket, even put a 27mm on there if you want to go super small. This is one of the setups that you can get as a kit. Now I would get all black, but that's just my personal preference. It still looks cool as it is. The thing balances well. Yes, it's a lot smaller than other bodies out there on the market, but it's very powerful. I mean, it's on in absolutely no time at all. You can select your autofocus point that way, or with the joystick. That's a lovely implementation in this body, which I'm sure we'll see in future bodies. Of course, this thing does do video, but it's not necessarily set up for video, but you can still get some real nice full across the sensor 4K. Still, the slow motion isn't particularly slow yet. You're still looking at 1080 60p, 4K 30p, so very capable. Basically what you're getting in the T20 T2, although this doesn't have any of the extra features of T2, but again, not really the same market at all. But for travel, for knocking about, day-to-day stuff, and even a pro backup, or frankly, there's a lot of pro work that you could do with this if you're careful. Wouldn't make it your #1 pro body at all. A lot of reasons for that, but man, technology has really caught up and made everything possible. If you're coming from the XC2 or the XC2S and you're looking to upgrade, I think you'll be happy. You've got all the latest bits and pieces that Fujifilm are packing these days in a smaller body. The new technology is there. Even though it hasn't got as many buttons as before, the buttons it does have, such as the view mode, drive delete, auto exposure lock, are easy to use. You get used to that new style of selecting your new touchscreen D-pad. Absolutely fine. Another winner from Fujifilm then. Thanks for watching. I'm going to escape now from Calumet. I don't think I'll get away with lugging these 3 beautiful boxes into the car, but you know, if I run quickly, maybe they won't notice. Subscribe, keep it cool, show some love. Bye.